Hey there, Thick Thoughts. Ask and you shall receive, and by that I mean merch. Have you wanted to support us and look stylish repping that thick thought look? Well, here's your chance. Visit teespring.com/stores/thickthoughts and view a nice catalog of hoodies, shirts, mugs, and more. You can proudly show that you are the thickest of thoughts to all your friends, neighbors, and that one dude that decided to use the elliptical right next to you when he has the whole rest of the gym to work out in. Again, that's teespring.com/stores/thickthoughts. Look fabulous and be the thickest of thoughts. And now, on to the episode.
Welcome everyone to the Thick Thoughts podcast. I am Sarah. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Ellie.
Hi.
And we are joined today by the very, very lovely Elena.
Yes.
Am I saying your name? All right, Elena. Also known as TheStairLady on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So for those people who maybe haven't been following your story, like, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and like what brought you to making an Instagram and like your journey through like you lead a keto lifestyle now, but like what kind of brought you there?
Sure. I've been overweight my whole life. I mean, since I can remember, I've been, pudgy, and it's never been an issue for me. I've never had it be an issue for me. So I'm not your typical, like, oh, I hated myself and like, I was outcasted or people made fun of me. It was never like that for me. I was always very positive and had like super high self-esteem, probably more higher than I should have. But, I always thought very highly of myself. So that never really got to me. And, I'm sure there was people out there that thought that I should lose weight, but it was never a priority for me. Like I was just trying to be happy, like anybody else, just be happy with who I am. And that was, I guess, part of me, like I knew that being the way that I was, it was okay because I was happy. But like when I was going to get married to my husband, I knew that looking back at those photos, I wasn't going to be happy. Like, I knew that it was going to bother me if I saw something out of place or if I wasn't like picture perfect for my wedding day. So like all bridezillas, I got all crazy and starved myself and tried to lose weight as much as I could. And which I did. I lost a whole ton of weight. My initial weight from the very beginning was 335 pounds. And when I got married, I managed to get down to 165. And 165, oddly, didn't look like 165 did this time around on me. So I was actually a little bit bigger in size at 165 back then than I was this time that I lost weight. But I had kids. And
Sorry, how long did it take you to lose the original weight?
Oh, like over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half, I want to say. And I was like, I was a rabbit basically eating nothing but salads and boiled chicken. So it was horrible. I hated it, but I knew that I had a goal in my mind, and I'm a very stubborn, like hard-headed person. And once I get something in my head, it's just, that's it. There's no way out but that way. So, I managed to get there, and then I got pregnant, like maybe 8 or 9 months after we got married. And obviously gained some weight, not all of it, but gained some weight. And then I was like, okay, I need to get back on track. I can do this. I did it one time, and let's start all over again on this diet and lose weight. And so there I go to the gym and, starting another low carb diet or do, something else like the Atkins diet, something similar to that. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't losing any weight and I didn't know why. Well, I was pregnant again. I was pregnant again. So
Oh my
when I
gosh.
had my second when I had my second baby, I was like 3 months pregnant. I didn't even know that I was pregnant because, and I don't know why, because I've always been so regular, but I didn't pay attention to it. And I think I was so focused on trying to lose weight that I wasn't paying attention to that. And then, I found out I was like 3 months pregnant with my second girl. And, after that, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so I tried to be careful with my pregnancy, not to overwork myself. And I ended up gaining more weight. And I ended up at like 212 pounds when I had my first daughter. And when I had my second daughter, I weighed like 230 pounds. And I just, I just stayed comfortable. I just stayed comfortable there and I was fine and everything was okay. And then I started gaining weight slowly. And in 2000 and it was January 2017. At the end, that last weekend, we took a trip. Oh, sorry, I got a message. We took a trip to California. And my husband wanted to go to the snow mountain and he wanted to, do a lot of cool stuff. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And that's when I realized my body needed to change because I couldn't catch up to any of that stuff. Like I was running out of breath. I had to take breaks. I was pretending like I was on my phone texting just so I could stop and breathe. And, it's like
that is
just
so relatable.
I know. I'm like, me.
So I would like stop like halfway up the steps and I'd be like, okay, let me pretend like I'm texting somebody because I cannot breathe, And like we're way up on this mountain and then I wasn't even like, I didn't even have a coat on or anything and I was sweating. How? Like the temperature was like 24 degrees and I'm sweating because like of all this exercise I'm doing. And it's just like, it was just literally just walking. Like it wasn't even that bad, but so then on the way back, my husband, I feel like my husband always tries to spoil me and like he doesn't want to make me feel uncomfortable. So I like flying for me was like so super nerve-wracking because I always felt like I wasn't going to fit into the seats or anything like that. And that weekend he had gotten us like first class tickets. So I would feel comfortable, and like not have to worry about asking for an extension or anything like that. And
That's so
even
sweet of him.
he's awesome. I love like he's super cool. I love my husband. And even in those like super wide first class chairs, I still didn't feel comfortable. So on the way back, I was telling him I need to do something. Like I can't continue on like this. I really don't want to like gain weight all the way back to 300 and plus pounds. I need to do something. So when I got back, I started researching, started looking for the quick fix, like everybody always does. I wanted my quick fix, and I found a nearby gym that was offering a 6-week transformation program. And I was like, take my money, like just go ahead, take it all. And that next day, my daughter came back with a note from school saying that I needed to have her checked for diabetes because they were concerned with her weight and height that she might be pre-diabetic. So it was like everything was happening at the same time. And my new gym was putting me on a paleo diet, which coincidentally was what her pediatrician was putting her on. So I figured it was like perfect because I said, hey, like I have to be on this diet. She has to be on this diet. Then this works out awesome. So we started this diet, which is very expensive, by the way. It was a very expensive 6 weeks for me. And
it's crazy how much. Yeah.
Yes.
Like they sell you the dream and, really try and, yes.
Exactly. And we were spending like $400 a week on groceries. And it's ridiculous how much money goes into that,
Well, yeah, because paleo, you have to do like the higher end of everything, correct?
Yes, everything has to be organic. Everything has to, yeah, exactly. So it's like, not only was it expensive, but it was a lot of trips to the store because you couldn't buy something because it would go bad super quick, So it was just very time consuming and expensive, and it was just very stressful. And this girl at the gym kept telling me about keto. And I was like, what is that? Like, what's keto? And she's like, oh, it's this diet where you like eat high fat and you get to eat bacon and you get to eat butter and you get to eat all this cool stuff and you lose weight. And I was like, haha, yeah, funny, I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, sure, girlfriend. Go, all right. So, when the 6 weeks were up and we were all weighing ourselves, I lost like 7 pounds in those 6 weeks. And I was so pissed off because I thought, like I have a huge amount of weight to lose. I expected to lose at least 20 pounds, with the kind of weight that I was handling.
And the kind of money you were spending, I'm sure. Like, you're
yes,
like, I better be losing half my body weight for $400 a week.
Yeah, I was thinking, at least I was thinking a realistic goal is going to be 20 pounds in 6 weeks. I've done it before, I've done like 30 pounds before in a month. So I knew that it was doable, but, I was being so strict with myself. I was, like counting everything, measuring everything, doing everything down like to a T what they were telling me to do. And for me to lose 7 pounds and like a quarter of an inch here and a quarter of an inch there, it was very, very like I don't even know what to say. I was just so disappointed, I was so angry.
Yeah,
and
like super defeating.
Very, exactly. That's the word, defeating. Exactly. So when I left, when I walked out of that room, I walked straight to that girl and I was like, all right, girl, how do I do this keto thing? Like, can you tell me what am I supposed to eat? What, like, can you give me a meal plan? What's the meal plan? The usual questions that everyone starts off with, like, just tell me what to eat. And she's like, no, I can't do that because the typical answer, because keto is different for everyone and you have to like really do your research, and here's this awesome website, go research. And I was like, oh, you be like, why don't you just want to tell me what to eat? Like, just tell me, am I supposed to eat fish or steak or what, But I was so angry that night that I couldn't sleep, and I ended up going on that website that she told me. So I started reading more about it, and I like the benefits and, like the weight loss, obviously, and saw all these awesome weight loss transformations. And I just thought it was super cool. And then I started learning more about how this could possibly also help my daughter, So I figured, I can't force her to eat a certain way. It's very hard to force a kid to eat, differently than their friends and all this.
Or eat anything in some cases, I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought, like, I need to make this change for myself, and hopefully, she can see how hard I'm working, and, maybe start liking some of the things that I'm eating, or maybe ask, like, hey, what are you eating this time? Or that looks good. Or so I started cooking, and coming up with new things to try. Like, if I have a big sweet tooth, so I need to have dessert or something sweet daily. And so, I started making cheesecake and cookies and just things that would look appealing to them, and they would start trying them. And slowly, like, I, introduced it into the family. And within the first week, I had dropped like 7 pounds. The 7 pounds that took me 6 weeks to lose, by the way. And in the 6-week challenge,
wow.
I dropped in the first week of keto. And my husband, I remember he would tell me, you're not going to lose weight eating that. That looks very fattening. And I'm like, look, just let me try this. Just, I've been reading, and just let me try it out. I'm going to see how it goes. And the following week, we went back to California. And we were, that was like my real test to see if I could, last a weekend without my home cooked meals. And we were at a restaurant with a friend, and he turns, my husband turns to look at me. He's like, are you ready to order, or you need another hour to look at the menu? And I was like, no, I'm ready to order. So, I mean, I figured I had some kind of knowledge by now, so I was like, I think I can do this. I think I got this. So I ordered to the best of my capabilities, and my husband's like, oh, she's doing this crazy diet. She thinks she's going to lose weight eating all this fat. And our friend goes, oh, are you doing, he called it the keto diet. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing keto. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I did that. I lost 50 pounds in 3 months doing that. And my husband turns and looks at him like, what? And he's like, yeah, look. And he showed us photos where like before he was just like I call it fat skinny, where you're like, you look thin with your clothes on, but like underneath you're kind of like flabby and like thick, you know? And then his after picture was like all ripped. Like he had little squares everywhere. I was like, what's going on? So
he had all kinds of shapes.
Yeah, he had muscles where I didn't know he could have muscles. I was like, what's going on with that? So my husband's like, how do I start this keto diet? So he started immediately with me that very same day, and he dropped like 25 pounds in a month. Like he got to his goal weight super quick. He's always been thin, but he had high cholesterol and high triglycerides, and all of those went back to normal on keto.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so it's been a huge blessing for us, and that's how I fell into keto. And my Instagram, funny story on my Instagram. It used to be called Cakes by Lainey because some of my friends called me Lainey, and so it used to be called Cakes by Lainey because I used to do like those custom cakes that you see on TV, like the 3D cakes and all that.
Cool.
So I used to do that. I used to make those cakes for like weddings and quinceañeras and all kinds of stuff. And so, one day my husband was like, hey, I need help on my business. Do you think, you can help me out for a little bit and then you can hop back on? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll help you out with it. And I didn't know a thing about stairs, but my husband and I own a stair remodeling business, and we sell stair parts as well. Hence the name, TheStairLady.
Oh.
It's not because of the Stairmaster.
That's I've never heard of someone like owning a stair. That's very interesting.
I know it's very uncommon. We get a lot of those people, like whenever they walk into our showroom, they're like, there's really a store for this? Yes, there's really a store for this.
That's awesome though.
And so when I started helping him, the customers would call and request to talk to me, and they'd ask for the StairLady. So like, can I talk to that StairLady? Can I talk to the StairLady? So I told my husband, I don't think that I'm going back to cakes. I think we're pretty much stuck together in this business.
I'm officially the StairLady.
I'm officially the StairLady. Like people don't even want to talk to you anymore. They're just like wanting to call and talk to me. And the funny part is that we'll have customers and they'll call me and he'll answer. My husband will answer, and they'll be like, "No, I want to talk to her because she knows what I want." And then whenever I talk to the customer, they'll be like, "Oh, well, I was talking to your assistant the other day," and I'm like, "That's not my assistant."
Oh my god!
But they all think that he's my assistant. But like at this point, my husband has taught me everything I know about stairs. I can literally build you a stair from the ground up and tell you down to the nail how many nails you're gonna need for that staircase.
Good
yeah,
thing.
like I can do it in my sleep now. So yeah, that's like, why I'm called the StairLady.
Oh, that's so. I would not have known that. And now I'm looking at your Instagram, and you have like pictures of stairs, and it's all making sense now.
I know.
It's all coming to a close circle.
Yeah. So you kind of explained like how you first learned about keto. So I guess speaking from my experience, like I've had weight loss surgery, and a lot of people who've had weight loss surgery choose to follow keto. Do you consider keto to be a diet and something that will come to an end, or is it something that is a lifestyle for you?
I feel like it's a lifestyle. I don't think it's a diet anymore. I think it took me maybe about 2 weeks to realize that this was a lifestyle and definitely not a diet. Because, something clicks in your brain to where you're like, I could actually live my whole life like this and not miss a single thing that I was used to eating, because the food is so good, and it's, you really, I don't know what it is that makes your mentality different about food. Like it literally changes your mind about food. I don't have that problem with binge eating anymore. I don't have that problem with like, the emotional eating, because I was an emotional eater. Like And whenever I say emotional eater, I would eat when I was happy, when I was sad, when I was mad, when I was excited.
Yeah.
Every emotion came with a
Get
snack,
in there.
and then like every emotion had its own taste of snack. So it's
Ooh.
yeah. So I was definitely an emotional eater. Like, yeah, I had my little I guess meals for every emotion.
Yeah.
My little go-tos for every emotion. But yeah, after keto, I didn't really think about it that way anymore. It was more like I said, like something clicked, and it was just kind of like, wow, it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie Limitless.
Mm-hmm.
When he takes the pill and everything like becomes super bright, and
Yeah.
like yeah, it was like, I feel like it was that for me, like, like 2 weeks in, I was like, oh my god, this is actually a lifestyle. There I was in California, experimenting for the first time, not being at home cooking for myself in the middle of a restaurant. And that's when I knew that I could do this, because I was like, if I can do this outside of a controlled environment, I'm good.
Yeah.
So
like if you can do this in the wild, you'll survive.
yes, exactly. Yeah. I set myself free. So yeah, I mean, I just knew that day. And so, for people that like you said, that do have weight loss surgery, and they do come to find that keto is very helpful, I think that it is, because a lot of the times I know that when I watch my 600-pound life all the time, and I know that like Dr. Now always like puts them on this diet before they have surgery, and some of them even need like therapy, to come to terms that, hey, your stomach is not going to be the size that it was before, and you need to realize that, because otherwise you can be in danger if you overeat. So I think keto really helps, like I said, with the binging. So yeah, definitely, a lot of people that turn to weight loss is because they think it's their last option.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah. I wouldn't say this is a first option.
Oh yeah.
No,
Um,
definitely. Well, no, definitely not. Mm-mm. It's scary,
and you said
Any
you.
surgery is too scary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. You said you had like a major sweet tooth before.
Yeah.
Do you have like how do you satiate your sweet tooth now that you're keto?
You know what? I could probably go without having sweets, and I would be completely fine. I think it's a mental thing, and I almost feel like I'm Mexican, and like with Mexican people, like growing up, we always had something sweet after dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a thing. Like we would have dinner, and then we would have something sweet, either coffee with sweet bread, or tres leches. It had to be something sweet.
Right.
So I think it's more mental, like something that I grew up, traditional type of thing. And I could probably go without it. But now if I do get a sweet tooth, I always have something on hand. I always have either like Lily's chocolates or Coco Polo. I always have some kind of chocolate where I could just go grab a little square and I'm good. If the craving is like a lot, where I know that a piece of chocolate is not going to suffice, I like to get some sugar-free Jell-O and cut up a couple of strawberries, because with strawberries you can get into high carb too if you go overboard. So I like to do sugar-free Jell-O with like 2 chopped up strawberries into little squares, put a little bit of whipped cream on top, and that literally does it for me. I am full on that, and I'm super happy with it.
That sounds really good.
I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's
I'm like,
super good.
You mentioned tres leches, and now I'm just like, oh man, I gotta make that this weekend.
My boyfriend is Mexican, and we're long distance, so he lives far away, but like he came for his birthday once, and I was like, what's your favorite cake? He said tres leches, and I was like, okay, I'm a white girl, I'm gonna try and make tres leches, and he liked it, and I was like, I have one life. Like I felt so honored, like, oh my gosh, someone who is Mexican likes my tres leches. So basically, but anyways, that's
how I won my husband over, like
through the stomach.
Yes, I remember that I made him a cake, a choco flan cake, and he was like all over it. So we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and his mom visited that weekend, and I like brought her some too, and she was like, "She's a keeper." I was like, "Yes, I am."
Oh my god.
Oh, that's great.
When you first started keto, I know that like every time I research or look up anything that's keto related, even my sister was on keto or still is on keto, I don't really know. They always mention the keto flu. Did you go through that?
Yeah. I don't think that I did. If I did, it must have been not that bad for me to remember, because when I started, I really did my research, and whenever I started, I knew that I had to hit my macros. So the first thing I did before I got off paleo, the first thing that I did was calculate my macros on keto. I had to learn about macros. I had to learn, what a macro was, because I had no idea what the hell it was. It was like, macros, what is that? So I had to learn what it was. I had to learn, what my personal macros were and what I needed to eat to reach those macros. So the first thing I did was get on a keto calculator that my friend suggested on that website. And I figured out my macros based on my goals and all that. And my first goal was like to reach 180 pounds. My first goal was to reach 199 pounds was my first goal.
Get into the Wonderland, girl.
Yes, I was like, just get me to Wonderland and I'm happy. We're good. Like, I'm going to be happy with that. And so that was my first goal. And so I set my macros, and then I said, okay, well, what am I going to eat to reach these macros? So I started writing down what I thought that I was going to eat. So I was like, okay, well, I want to eat, 3 scrambled eggs in the morning, and I'm going to put a tablespoon of butter, and I'm going to put some, avocado on it or whatever it was. And then in the afternoon, I want to eat this. And then at night, I want to eat this. And then I calculated based on what I thought that I needed to eat. And I was so wrong. Like I was overeating. And I think that's why I was big in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I had to start modifying that diet, I had to start modifying, my meals. So I was like, okay, instead of 3 eggs, I'm going to cut it down to 2. That's going to cut down 78 calories. And, I started like moving stuff around to create a menu for my macros that was going to equal them out. And, without knowing it, I was starting on intermittent fasting because it was 3 meals a day. And it wasn't any snacking in between. If I really needed it, I had in consideration a couple of almonds or cheese sticks, something, but it always worked into my macros. So I always left a little room extra for those I guess emergencies.
Right.
And if it didn't happen, then good, I ate less calories for the day. So I started it that way, and whenever I did, I was hitting all those macros. And when you hit those fats, I feel like those fats help you avoid some of that keto flu. And also, I was also starting, with drinking pickle juice and bone broth. And without knowing, I was replenishing all those electrolytes. So my electrolytes were on point. My fat was on point. And I think that's what helped me avoid feeling like crap in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But I did have other symptoms. I mean, I had the acetone, breath. I went through like 2 weeks of the stinky phase. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but
no.
For the people that don't know what it is, you will go through a phase where you literally smell like you're dead. Like you smell so bad. I was at the gym and I was working out at the gym and I'm like, oh my God, somebody forgot to put on deodorant. And then I went, it was a water break. I went to go take some water and I kept turning around because I was like, did she follow me? I was like, this stinky ass lady followed me. And I'm like looking around to see who it could be because I like, there was no way it was me. And like,
it's like you're walking around with poop under your skin.
By the third water break, I realized it was me. I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I smell so bad.
I'm the stinky one.
I'm the stinky StairLady. So then I got home and I told my husband, oh my God, I don't even hug me. I smell so horrible. And he goes, I didn't want to tell you, but I smell really bad too. And so I knew it had to be something with a diet,
Yeah.
So I Googled and sure enough, it was related to the diet. And I wasn't the only one. I wasn't alone in this. there were other stinky people out there.
Well,
And
that's
so,
normal.
yeah, no, you will go through a stinky phase.
But you should also continue showering just in case it's not just a phase.
Definitely. No, I think I probably showered like twice a day during that 2 weeks that it took to get over that phase.
Oh yeah. Is
So,
it
yeah,
is it like ketones or something that are being released that cause you to be stinky, or is there like, do you know if there's like a reason for why people are stinky, or just the change in
I
diet
think
and your
it's
body
your
getting used
body
to it?
detoxing too at the same time. Like your body is
Uh,
detoxing and, you're kind of going through that phase. I don't necessarily know the specific scientific terms behind it, but I believe that it could be that your body is detoxing from, everything
yeah.
that it was used to. So you're sweating out all of this bad stuff and it's just, it's nasty.
That's so crazy how like food affects you that way. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. It does affect you in like the weirdest ways. And then around the 4th month, my hair started falling out.
well, but
And
that's
that
from the
was another thing.
That's from the weight loss, though, right?
Well, I've read that a lot of people, it is from rapid weight loss. And it's also because when you're on keto, you have to take supplements. And I didn't read that portion. I guess nobody guided me towards that, and I didn't read that it was important to take collagen peptides and to take biotin, and hair, skin, and nail vitamins. And like, so I wasn't up on those. And when my hair started falling out, I want to say about the 3rd week, I almost gave up. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go completely bald. And like my hair is already thin as is. And you could completely see my scalp at the front. It was, very embarrassing. And I didn't know what to do. And I think it was like the 3rd week that I found out I had to take supplements. And then like at the 4th week, it started slowing down. And then slowly it started growing back in. So I was very patient with it because I think anybody else probably would have just said, no, screw this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And I think like as a woman, I think like your hair is something that it's something, it's like for many it's like a defining characteristic of being a woman. So like if you lose that, it's almost like you're losing part of that identity. I know one of our friends is Ari, who's in the Instagram community. She has dealt with like a lot of hair loss and has been vulnerable in sharing about it. And I feel lucky because after weight loss surgery, I did lose a lot of hair, but I started with a lot of thick hair. So I feel for people, start a weight loss journey with thinner hair and then have to, not only deal with the changes in your body, but also like having to deal with like your identity as a woman and like your hair and stuff, like changing in that process.
Yeah, I lost a lot of hair too. And I have
You did, yeah.
And I have
it's horrible, right? You're just kind of like, when is this going to stop?
No, and on top of that, I have PCOS. So I was already losing hair, and then I lost weight.
Yeah.
And then it all came out, and then I already
you grew a beard.
hair. And then I have a beard forever and ever. I have PCOS,
Yeah. I have friends with PCOS, and like the struggle, girl, the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about like part of the reason for like first going on paleo before starting keto was to like help your daughter's health. Has that, if you want to talk about it, like has that improved since your family has converted to more keto?
It definitely has. So with her health has been improving. It's not 100% back to where we would like to, see it, but she has definitely made improvements. She actually has a checkup coming up, and I'm like super nervous and excited at the same time about it because I just want to see her doing better, And I always try to tell her, like, I'm not asking you to eat a certain way for your appearance. I really don't care what you look like on the outside as long as you're happy and healthy, And it's so important for me to know that she knows that, because growing up, I was overweight like my whole life, and my mom was very thin, and I would always get the sit up straight, suck it in, do this, do that, and like she was always very like about your appearance, so I always felt like almost like she was I don't want to say that she was embarrassed of me because she's my mom, and I don't think any mother is embarrassed of their kids, but I almost feel like she was like, how, people are going to judge me because you're big and I'm not, And now as a mom, I understand it because I feel like, I'm in this for weight loss. I'm not in this for any other reason, for myself. But for her, I'm in this for her health, So I feel like, she is she's overweight. She is overweight, and I feel like she feels out of place sometimes, or she feels like she doesn't fit in. And I always tell her, it's not about your weight. Like, I was big my whole life, and I didn't care. Like, there was nothing in the world that could stop me from doing anything that I want. Girl, I tried out for cheerleading, and I was probably the biggest girl I was probably the biggest girl there. I didn't make it, but I tried out. Like, nothing was gonna stop me,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if they didn't want me, oh well, it's their loss, like, big girls gonna do their thing.
Damn
And
right.
yeah, so I've always been, very positive about that. And I always tell her that should not, like, I'm not doing this for your weight loss. I'm doing this for me to feel comfortable. And yes, it's a weight loss thing, but it is for me to feel comfortable because I don't feel comfortable anymore. I'm getting older. I can't move around as easily as I used to. I used to twerk. I can't twerk anymore, like, I throw out my back trying to twerk. So it's like, I can't do stuff like that anymore. So I told her, for me, it's a little bit different. Like, you're young, and I just want you to be healthy, and being healthy is going to make me happy. And I know it's going to make her happy too. And I always tell her, if there's something that you are not happy with, just know that you have the capability to change that. So if you want to change something, you can change it. It's just up to you, not up to anybody else. If somebody else is not happy with the way you look, that's their problem, not yours. So it's very, it's very hard.
That's such an amazing message, especially like from a mother to her child. Like, it just, that warms my heart that, that you're not only instilling her like confidence, but also like instilling her confidence that like she is the she is the pirate of her own, like, destiny, not pirate, but captain of her own destiny. Like, she gets to choose how her life
That's
outcomes.
right. She does get to choose. That's what I told her. You're the author of your own book, girl. Like, you get to write it however the hell you want it,
That's a much more eloquent way to say it than pirate. Yeah, she's the author of her own book.
So, I try, but it's very hard because she's going, like, I know she's going through puberty right now, and she's like going through all these hormonal changes, and it's just, it's so hard to deal with it. And she's like, Mom, this is so embarrassing for me to talk about. And I'm like, I know, girl, it's embarrassing for me too. Like, I don't know how to approach this. Like, I'm new to all of this. So, we talk through it. We started this thing where every Friday we go to Starbucks and have like a girls night. And she gets to choose her coffee, but obviously it's a keto friendly frappuccino. And I have my regular coffee, And so we sit and we just kind of catch up on the week and how was your week and what happened, and like, do you still feel out of place, or is there something else that's going on? Like, what's going on? And she'll talk about it, and we try to set small goals for her to look forward to and kind of like get her mind off of, some of the stuff that's going on that she feels bad about or sad about. And, like, we're taking it little by little. That's what I keep telling everybody. All you can do is just focus on today and focus on laying on your bed at the end of the night and being happy with the way your day went. And that's it. Like, don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Just worry about what's going to happen today, and about you at the end of the day laying down on your pillow and saying, yes, this is exactly how I wanted my day to go. And
I need you to give me a pep talk like that every single morning. Seriously, those words like touched my soul.
I know.
But I think what you're talking about, I am not a mother, but I have been a daughter. So I think that's something that I've always appreciated from my mom, and it sounds like this is something that you've embodied, is like my mother has never like talked badly about her own body, even though she is someone who has lived in an obese body most of her adult life, like after kids, putting on a few more pounds with each spawn that pops out. And I think that's so, like, I'm sure it's not easy, like as a parent, to like recognize and hear from like your child's doctor that like your child needs to like make these changes. So like it sounds like the changes that you've made for your kids have been like, you've made this change without it making your kids feel bad or your kids feel insecure about the way they look. And I think that should be commended, because I think there's two extremes, like parents who go like gung-ho and like restrict and tell their kids that they need to stop eating or like slap food out of their hand. And then the other side of it is like kids who want to like love their kid to death through food and like keeping their hand in their plate full. And it sounds like you have this wonderful balance that I think so many, I mean, again, I'm not trying to pretend that I know anything about being a parent, but like it sounds like just like I have very healthy like balance that you've struck. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah. And what's important is that you're explaining to her your reasonings, because like how Sarah said, some parents are like, they'll just slap the food out of the kid's hand instead of being like, you need to not eat this because it's going to negatively affect your health in the long run, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. It's not about what you look like. It's about, this might happen, or like you might have heart disease, because we have heart disease in the like, things like that.
Yeah. And it's important to like to lay the truth. I mean, kids are smart, kids are so smart, especially these days, when they can grab an iPad and Google anything if they wanted to, or YouTube anything if they wanted to, Mm-hmm. So I would much rather explain it my way and say, hey, like, this is why we need to do this, instead of her like finding out a different way and freaking out about it, So that's my goal, is exactly that, for her to make her choices. And my mom was telling me today that that she took them to McDonald's, and it was so funny that she took them to McDonald's to get something to eat, and my daughter was like, there's something to eat here. There's nothing to eat here. And then she's like, no, you can get chicken nuggets, or you can get this, or you can do that. And my daughter was like, no. So my youngest, sometimes she'll eat out of the keto way of eating. So she was like, yeah, I want chicken nuggets. So she got chicken nuggets and took full advantage of that little outing with her grandmother. And my mom told me, no, Biani, like, she ordered grilled chicken and she asked for unsweet tea, and they said that they did not have unsweet tea. So she asked for water. She goes, I was so surprised. Wow, and that just made me feel like, I don't know, it made me feel so good that she made the right choice,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Something you talked about like when we first started talking was like when you originally lost a bunch of weight and you looked different from when you lost weight with keto, like your body looked different even though you were the same weight. Like, how did it look different?
So that was also one of my goals. Like I mentioned, whenever I set my first goal was to get into Wonderland. My second goal was to get to 180 pounds. My third goal was to get into my wedding dress, which, like I said, I weighed like 165 pounds whenever I got married. And so that was like my third goal. And when I was reaching 180 pounds, I fit into the dress. And I was like, wait, what? And I thought it was so weird that my body was smaller than what I thought it was at that weight. So this whole weight loss thing has been very, can I cuss?
Of course, go ahead.
It's been a mind fuck. Like, definitely been a mind fuck for me. Like, it's been crazy because, like, here I was fitting into my wedding dress at 180 pounds. And I'm like, how is this possible? Because, I thought that I wasn't going to fit back into it until I was 165. And I don't know what possessed me to go grab the dress and try it on. I zipped it up by myself with no like Spanx underneath or nothing underneath it. And on my wedding day, I had like a corset underneath that dress, and I had like Spanx and all kinds of stuff going on. And, it was very weird. So body composition is like one of the coolest things I've learned about on this way of eating, you know? So like, a lot of people will tell me like, how do you weigh? Like right now I weigh like a 148, 150, something like that. I haven't weighed myself after surgery. So I had a tummy tuck, in December of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I had a tummy tuck with muscle repair, because my muscles were obviously separated from babies. And I had a breast augmentation because I lost a lot of volume on my boobs, you know, with all the fat loss. And so I had those things done in December the 13th. And so I got very swollen. Obviously, when you're recovering, you get super swollen. And, it's just, I was like, oh my God, when is it going to be the day that I see my old jeans again? Because before surgery, the lowest weight I saw was 148.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wearing size 2s already in some brands. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people are like, well, how do you weigh that much and you're wearing a size 2? It doesn't make sense, because you would think a size 2 girl weighs like 110 pounds, or 120 pounds. 120 pounds. Body composition is amazing. It's just, everybody is built differently. And I remember so much the day that I posted my size 2 jeans compared to my old size 18 jeans. And it was like the waist of my new jeans was the size of one of the legs of my old jeans.
Wow.
And everybody, like, I started getting comments about like, oh no, you're not that size, and you're not like a lot of those comments. And so I was like, look, instead of criticizing or commenting something bad, why don't you go to the store? Like, this is the brand of jeans that I'm wearing. This is the store that I bought them at. Why don't you go to the store and try on a pair of jeans? Maybe you fit into a smaller size 2. For now, I'm going to take it. Whatever brand it is, I'm going to take it. It's a size 2, damn it. I've never seen that size on me ever. So I'm taking it. I don't care if it stretches every which way.
A 2 is a 2.
A 2 is a 2. And I've never in my life even put a size 2 on one of my legs, let alone on my waist.
Right?
So,
or like the only 2 I've put on my body is a size 22.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I was like, no, there's, I'm going to celebrate this. And the funny thing is that it started a trend. Like, people would go to Target to try on this exact same pair of jeans in a size 2 and say the size 2 challenge. It was like the size 2 challenge. It became a thing. It was so funny. And I had girls messaging me and saying, girl, like, I'm your same height, your same weight, and look at these jeans on me. And they wouldn't fit. And then, I would have girls saying, hey, I weigh 160 pounds. I'm 5'7", and the size 2 fit me. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. It's so awesome how we're all different. And, it doesn't mean that I have to get judged by that the number on the scale, that hideous number on the scale, that just in somebody's mind registers as, no, you're this weight, so you must be this size. Well, no, it's not true.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by whenever I weighed 165, then it wasn't the same as it was now. I mean, at 165 I was probably a size 6 or an 8 when I was at 165.
Yeah. And also, I guess I didn't think about it, but like between when you were at your wedding weight to now, you had children, so I'm sure that like changes how your body fits into clothes and stuff like that. So,
and also
but yeah,
it out more, right? Like after the fact with keto.
Oh yeah, I worked out since day one. I feel like working out made me like more strict with sticking to it than if I would have not worked out, because like, I hate wasting my time, so it's like, if I'm there and I'm committed, and I'm not going to go mess around in the refrigerator when I leave, because I already put in that work. I hated it. Like, to this day, I still hate working out. I don't know how people are so happy, and endorphins, whatever, like, it's
same.
It's live.
And
I do it because I have to do it.
I like that you're open about that, because a lot of people are like, no, I work out all the time and I love it.
I love it. It's like, no.
I hate it.
The way I've like explained it to people, or the way I try and think about it in my mind, is like, working out is a chore like anything else. Like, you have to do dishes, not because you want to, but because you have to.
Yes.
You have to do laundry, so you wear clothes. You have to work out for your health, and that's a chore. It doesn't have to be enjoyable. And I think like you said, like, there's a misconception that like in order to work out, you have to like love it. Like I do not enjoy going to the gym, but I know that I need
No.
to.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand people that are so happy to be there because I'm like, do you know what this do you know what this means? This means I have to go home and wash my hair. And this means that after I wash my hair, I have to blow dry it. And like that's adding another 3 hours to my day just by going to the gym. So like
Yes.
people don't realize, how time consuming for a woman it is. Because for men, they just like hop into the shower, get out and change and go. But for us, it's a lot different. Like we have to, especially if we work, we have to like look presentable. We can't just show up like in pajamas. I wish.
Oh yeah.
But it
Or
doesn't
like,
happen
is
now.
today the day that instead of getting my hair wet, I'm gonna load it down with dry shampoo and try to get through the day.
I work my schedule, like my workout schedule, around how dirty my hair is. So I'm like, okay, so I washed it today, so that means tomorrow's gonna be a rest day, and then
and then a weight day, and then the last day will be a cardio day,
it'll be
and then we shower.
extreme cardio.
Oh my God, I
day.
love that. That's so true, though. It is very true. So that's so true.
I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about the weight, the scale and stuff, because it just proves, like, I know there's been people online lately that are like, muscle does not weigh more than fat, but like that just proves that it does, because you fit into your dress, so you were like of a less volume, like size, like inches size, than you were at 180, which is amazing. So that's just, it just proves that like just because the number on the scale says one thing doesn't mean that you have to like die and live by it, because a lot of people seem to forget that when they're
it's true. And you do build a lot of muscle when you're, especially like depending on what workout you were doing. Like I was doing kickboxing, we use a lot of our leg muscles, and we try to incorporate all the muscles, but a lot of it is legs. And so like my legs were super hard, and my butt and everything. So that's why I was like, I'm so glad that I did it, because I never lost my booty. Like it did go down in volume, but it was always there in shape, so it's like,
yeah, girl,
I'm so happy about it.
Have you got your twerk back?
I haven't gotten my twerk back. My back is still swollen. my back is still swollen from the surgery, and like I've been going to massages like twice a week, to my lymphatic massages, and I told the girl, told my masseuse, I was like, girl, when is this gonna go away? Because I miss that curve where like it separates my back from my butt, like I just want to see that curve again.
Oh yeah. And what is it called? Swell hell, like just after plastics.
It's so real. Like swell hell is so real. But I'm actually very excited right now because I'm still swollen, but I'm fitting into the clothes that I was wearing prior to surgery. So I cannot imagine unswelling any more than this, but I know that it's going to happen because, like I said, I don't see that curve right now on my butt, on my back and my butt. So I know that more unswelling is coming. So I'm very excited to see how this all is going to end and how it's going to look and all that. But for now, I'm being patient until I get my twerk back, and it will happen.
I mean, you look fine as hell.
Yeah,
even with swell. So, fine as hell, even with swell.
And I wanted to say real quick, like, because a lot of people, because we've both had weight loss surgery, so like a lot of people, they're like, oh well, I don't want to have weight loss surgery because I'm gonna have to go do plastic surgery after. I'm like, if you lose a ton of weight, regardless, you're gonna probably at some point consider doing plastics. And
you know what? I always said that I would never get a boob job. Always. Like, yeah, that was my thing. I'm never gonna get a boob job. I said that I don't know how many times. And I remember whenever I started going to consultations, and I was like, I just want to get a fat transfer. Can you like suck fat from one place and like add it into another place? And the doctors would look at me like I was crazy. And they're like, no, you don't have fat for us to suck, like not enough fat for us to suck and fill that in. You need breast implant or a breast reduction, like a lift.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, on one side, it's kind of like good news because you're like, I've never heard anybody say that to me. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, I had never heard. Yeah, exactly. I had never heard that. And I was like, wait, but have you seen my legs? Because I have enough there. Like you want to go ahead and touch them for real? Because I have a lot there. And they would grab my legs and they were like, no, look, this is skin. Like you have a lot of excess skin. It doesn't look like you do, but when you pull on it, it's skin. And it was just so crazy to me for me to see that, because here I am thinking, oh, my legs are still fat. And they're like, no, it's skin. But my legs don't look like they're not sagging or anything. So I can live with this type of skin, But the skin that I had removed on my stomach was not really because of the skin. Like the skin I really didn't care about. It was that I had this nasty scar from my C-section. From my first daughter, because I had to have an emergency C-section, and my labor was very complicated, and I had to have like an emergency blood transfusion, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So whenever I healed, I had a lot of scar tissue built up on that C-section, and it looked weird. So and I'm sure y'all are gonna see it because I will post it once I'm healed and everything. But it looked very, very bad, and so the second labor, I was supposed to get that fixed. And it was even worse than the first labor. So there was no time to get it fixed. So it was starting to bother me because now, like with the weight loss, you could definitely see that scar, And that's when I started looking for a doctor to get it removed. And I thought, well, if I'm going to get that fixed, I might as well, get my boobs fixed because they're pretty sad looking now. And
I got the pancake titty life living.
That was me. That was me too. And so the doctor said, no, your only two options are to do a breast lift or a breast augmentation. And I told my husband, I was like, look, if I get a breast augmentation and I don't like it, I can always take them out and then get the breast lift. But if I get a breast lift and everything's already all cut up, there's no going back from that.
Right.
So I'm like, I guess I'm going to experiment with this. It was very scary, but I got through it. And I'm very happy with them. So never say never.
Yeah. It sounds like you have had like a lot of success, obviously. Like you've done an amazing job, and you've been an inspiration for like so many people in the Instagram community. I know that's corny, but like to me, it's like very much a community. Something that I hear, and I think something that I try to practice is like, if it works for you, like go on with your bad self. But I hear like a lot of criticism of like the keto lifestyle, as like people say like, I can't, like people say like, if you go keto, like if you go back to not eating keto, you're going to gain it all back. Or people view it as not a sustainable like lifestyle to lead like for the rest of your life. It sounds like you haven't like you're in it forever. Do you think that it's possible to be keto and like transition to a non-keto lifestyle and still maintain weight loss? Or like, do you have any thoughts on that?
I do think that you can transition into a different type of diet and be successful. I mean, with any diet, if you're consistent in it, you're going to be successful, and I think that's where people kind of like think, like I said, think of it as a diet. And I'm like, I don't think of it as a diet anymore. I just think of it as a lifestyle. It's like a vegetarian. A vegetarian's not going to say, oh, well, maybe like next month I'll eat meat. It's
Right.
It's not
That's
like
so,
that.
yeah.
It's a lifestyle. So like you choose to be a vegetarian, that means you're not going to eat meat. You're not thinking, when is the next time that I'm going to eat meat? You're just thinking, this is my new life, and this is what I chose, So,
Elena, you just like, I love that answer, because it just, I mean, to me, it's like, if people have criticisms of a diet, it's exactly how you said. If someone's a vegetarian, like you don't ask them like, oh, are you going to be a vegetarian forever? Are you going to like, do you miss? And the thing is like, the same thing for keto. So I think that like, I feel like you just said like, fuck all criticisms of keto with this just one answer.
If you could see my face right now while you're saying that, my mouth is like open, because I'm like, I never thought of it that way. Like at all.
Yeah,
I've
said that for like the longest time.
And I was vegetarian and vegan, and like I never would have ever thought of getting that question. Like, so when do you think you're gonna eat meat again? It's like, that's not even a question to entertain in your mind when you're living those lifestyles.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. When your mind clicks and you just know that this is for you. You don't think about like when your next carb-filled day is gonna be. Yeah, you would be like, don't get me wrong, girl. I think about hot Cheetos sometimes, but Like it's not like a permanent, like it's not something that I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm dying to have a bag of hot Cheetos. I know that I'm going to enjoy one, and whenever I do, I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it. But it's not something that is going to make me break the way that I'm living now, because it's not part of my lifestyle anymore. So that's exactly how I viewed it this whole time. You wouldn't, like you said, you wouldn't ask a vegetarian or a vegan, like, when's the next time you're going to eat meat? It's just, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Also, like, damn, you're just blowing our mind. Also, I think people, like, the mindset that you have going into keto is very similar to me, as like the mindset that you should have going into any diet. Like, it's not like you have to make a lifestyle change in order to have like a long-term impact. So like if you go into a diet thinking, oh, I'm going to just lose 5 pounds and then I'm going to go back to my old ways. Well, what do you think happened when you were living your old ways, type of thing? So, oh man, Elena, you're blowing my mind up.
Oh my God. Is there anything that you would tell, like any like advice or like encouraging words that you would tell like either your old self going into this new keto lifestyle or into this weight loss lifestyle, not weight loss lifestyle, but like healthy lifestyle, I want to say, that you would like to share with us?
I've gotten that question like asked before, and I always enjoyed myself through every stage of my life, and I don't think that I would, like tell myself any other different than how I did it. But I do obviously wish that I would have found this a lot earlier, because I feel like this not has only changed, obviously my weight and all that, but it has changed me as a person. Like, I feel like I'm so much happier. I think so much clearer, and I just I feel like I'm a better person, period, because of this. I don't know how or why or if it's related to the weight loss, which I'm sure it has something to do with it, but if I could tell myself anything back then, would be to like, hey girl, get your shit together. You know what you gotta do. Because this has been something that's in the back of my mind my whole life. I was happy with myself at any size or at any weight. But I obviously, like anybody else, would see my thinner friends and know that they could walk into a store and just pick up anything off the rack and it'll fit, or they could go somewhere and a guy would turn and look at them, and I was just the third wheel. So it was like that was always, I know that was always buried in the back of my mind. Like, I know that if I was thinner, that I could do this, or if I was thinner, I could do something easier, or better. And the only thing holding me back was me. That was it. Like, there was nothing on this planet that was holding me back but me. And I would have probably told myself, get your shit together. You know what you got to do. Stop getting in your way. Just get it done. Like, it's hard for me to tell that to somebody now, because I do get a lot of DMs that ask me like, hey, can you help me? Can you like just tell me what to eat, or just, can you help me out with this or that? And like, I always tell them the same thing. I can't help you. Like, there's not a paid program. There's not a coach out there that is going to be able to help you until you help yourself. You need to get out of your own way and help yourself. So that's the one thing that I would probably tell myself.
Damn.
Damn. That's hilarious.
That's a really good way to like explain it.
I'm glad I'm explaining myself today. Good.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Elena, the TheStairLady. If you guys are looking for stair renovations in the
the Houston area,
reach out to the TheStairLady. But really, thank you so much. I think we appreciated you taking your time out to talk to us so much. So thank you so much.
Of course. Anytime. I had a blast, you guys. I think this is probably one of the funnest podcasts I've done. And I really appreciate both of you taking your time too to talk to me.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I know.
Thank you.
I know. I mentioned it in our DMs and conversations, but you were very highly requested by our listeners.
Really?
So that you have fans among the
Aww.
Mhm.
Well, thank you guys for whoever's listening to this podcast. I really appreciate y'all requesting me.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much. If you guys enjoyed us, please subscribe to us on all of the forms of media that you possibly could subscribe to us on. We are on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, all of them, wherever you're listening to us now. And if you want to help us out, please go ahead and leave us a comment and a review on our iTunes page. It helps us out a lot and helps the algorithm, boost us in the search engine for other people that are, in search of a healthy lifestyle change. And also, if you want to join our Patreon, it's patreon.com/thickthoughts, and you can give us some monetary things for some really cool extra stuff that not everybody gets. So I wanted to say thank
Elena,
you. Thank you again, Elena,
you
so
are-
much.
You are the thickest of thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening today. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.